Hi everyone, I am Barsha and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about President Donald J. Trump and his accomplishments over the last 3 years. He's heading for re-election, and I just want the American people to know some of the things in which he has done, so this way it gives you a better idea on whether or not to vote for him again. I did vote for him the first time around to become our president, and I will be voting for him again this November to be re-elected as our president. I believe that he is the best person for the job, and I believed that before, and I still believe that now. Let's go over some of the economic highlights. Since President Trump took office, he put America into high gear. There has been 7.3 and above jobs that have been created. And in 2019, 2.1 million jobs were created. Now, 1.5 million of them were added for women. That is the first time that women have outweighed men in jobs. It's fantastic. Trump is doing a fantastic job for everybody, not just one kind of person, everybody. Now, that's the first time ever. Now, over 500,000 manufacturing jobs have been created since the president was elected. And the current unemployment rate is 3.5%. That is a 50-year low. Now, granted, that is in January, and some December highlights heading into Christmas. We had gotten 174,000 jobs were created. Now, that December month marked 22 straight months in a row, okay, that the unemployment rate, okay, has been at or below 4%. That's huge. And 22 consecutive months where wage growth has been near or above 3%. Throughout Trump's administration, we have seen record low unemployment for women, African Americans, Latino Americans, Asian Americans. Everybody is doing great. And in December, African Americans' unemployment rate was 5.9%. Hispanic Americans was 4.2%, near a record low. Asian Americans were 2.5%, once again, near a historic low. And women unemployment rate hit 3.2%, the lowest since 1953. Now, I was born in 1963. I am 56 years old, so I got a lot of salt on my wounds. I've seen a lot of presidents, and this President Donald Trump has gotten a lot of things accomplished for us American people. I understand the coronavirus came. I understand that unemployment went down because the whole world shut down. It wasn't just America. And you saw my coronavirus prediction videos. You know how I feel about this coronavirus. And if not, when you subscribe to my channel, like my channel, subscribe to it, you'll be able to see all of my other videos. And if you don't want to subscribe, that's fine. Look up my name, look at all my other videos. You just might want to subscribe. I've got some great content, and it's all true. True. You might not like it. It might be controversial, but at least it's true, and you can't tell me I'm lying. Now, the Dow Jones has gone up to a record high over 100 times under President Trump. And ready for this? Over 7 million people have come off food stamps under President Trump's leadership. And Congress passed a historic tax cut and a relief for the hardworking Americans. The tax cut and the Job Act is the first major tax reform signed in 30 years. As a result of the historic tax cuts, nearly 9,000 opportunity zones were created in all 50 states, DC, and 5 territories. Now, you have to remember, I have dyslexia, and you know this if you've been some of my subscribers, and thank you for my subscribers watching this. You know I have dyslexia, and it's hard for me. I freaking have studied this. I've gone over it 50 times. I'm still going to probably mess it up. That's just the way life is. What are you going to do, right? Sometimes you're born with a gift, and I believe that dyslexia is a gift. It's not a curse. I believe it's a gift. It makes me read things 50 times, and once it's in there, it's in there. But this freaking opportunity zone has created over 100 billion in private capital. The investments and the impact nearly 35 million Americans. The Tax Cut and Job Act increased the child tax credit by 100%, keeping more money in the pockets of the hard-working Americans. Economic confidence rebounded to record highs under President Trump because of his pro-growth policies. American workers and businesses he put first. President Trump has rolled back unnecessary job-killing regulatory regulations at a historic pace. The administration has cut 8.5 regulations for every new rule. Now that far exceeds the made promises of 2 regulations for every one that he added. So regulations costs have been slashed by nearly $50 billion and have saved taxpayers over $220 billion once all the actions are implemented. Now, if you want to look at per household, it's right around $3,100 a year. Remember, there's over 300 million of us, okay? Average household. Now, there's about 125 million households in America. The administration formed the government incentive on the regulatory innovation, which aims to better align the states and the federal efforts to cut additional unnecessary regulations and costs. Now, with the immigration, I know that's always a touchy subject. Hell, my family came in on the boats, okay? They came in on the boats, of course, 5 generations ago, but Trump is working on securing our border. We all know the problems. I've been in construction most of my life. I know the problems. I understand it. The people are coming over. Hey, you want to come over? Get your paperwork done. Come on over. We would love to have you. You're going to sneak on over here. Hey, you're a criminal already. You snuck on over here. You're a criminal already. So I understand where we're going. Now, the president said he was going to go ahead and build that wall. Well, that wall is being built, and we all know it. And by the end of 2020, we are going to have over 450 miles of finished wall, like I said, before the end of 2020. So the Trump administration has already finished 100 miles of that wall system. Currently, 167 miles of the wall is under construction in high entry sectors, such as the San Diego, El Paso, and Yuma. The new wall has contributed to a 56% overall decrease in numbers of illegal migrants, arrivals at the border. That is huge for the American dollar, on what we have to spend to get these people back where they belong. Now, under President Trump, the United States Border Patrol has arrested hundreds of members of dangerous gangs. The president has strongly enforced our nation's immigration laws by cracking down on the illegal. Immigration and taking aim at sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities. How do we even have a sanctuary city in America? Okay, this is America. How do you have a pocket? I don't understand that. You're a criminal, you're a criminal. Okay? We're going to go to this freaking city and you're safe. The end of that. President Trump has called on Congress to close dangerous loopholes such as catch and release, end chain immigration, and end the visa lottery program, which enables illegal immigration. The administration is looking to close the Flores settlement agreement that requires the government to release families into the country after 20 years. This loophole has been exploited by the smugglers, okay, who use children as the pawns to enter the country. We are closing the asylum loopholes. Recently, the administration instituted a new rule requiring migrants who come to our border to have previously applied and been denied to the country to not pass through. This is unbelievable stuff. I love all the things in which our president, Donald J. Trump, has done and is doing. And when he gets re-voted in a landslide, I believe that he's going to be able to get everything else done. Too bad we can't go on 3 terms, but maybe we might be able to. I don't know. We'll see when that happens. Now, the Trump administration announced that they are releasing a public charge rule that will ensure non-citizens do not abuse our nation's public benefits. This rule will go into effect 10/15/19. Now, President Trump was successful in his efforts to get Mexico and the Northern Triangle countries to step up and help stop this crisis at the border. President Trump's successful negotiations have led to over 28% drop in migrants taken into custody in June. In May, President Trump announced a new immigration proposal that will modernize our system and secure our borders. The administration has made it a priority to end human trafficking. Okay, how do we still have human trafficking? Come on, people. And is using many resources to do so. The administration provided funding to support the National Human Trafficking Hotline. It's unbelievable. People are still doing this stuff. I'm just so happy Trump is in there making sure all this stuff is happening. The Anti-Trafficking Coordination Team, the AC team, okay, is more than doubled the conviction of human traffickers in just the last few years. So we're getting the job done, but we got to get that number up a lot higher. Now, getting into foreign policy, okay? President Trump excuse me, I hope you subscribe to my channel. I hope you like this stuff. Hey, it's nothing but the truth. You can look all this stuff up. It's right there for plain to see. So it's not like I'm making anything up. This is wonderful. Our president has done all of this, and there's still so much more to come. Now, in the foreign policy, President Trump has restored our nation's standing in the world and is standing up to the bad actors. Yes. I love this stuff. The United States has successfully decimated the ISIS. We barely hear about them anymore. Under Trump, the #1 terrorist leader, I don't know all these names. I'm going to brutalize them. So you guys know the names. He was taken out. President Trump ordered the killing of the head of the Iran elite Quad forces. I can't say any of their names, so I'm not even going to try. He was an evil, ruthless, and deadly terrorist. I'm pretty sure that a lot of these people think the same thing with us. Remember, we're a nation, and we're the biggest boy in town. We got people everywhere in everybody's business. I understand that. We're pushing people all over the place. I understand that. But we're not blowing up innocent people. We take out military places. We've always had that rule. And in World War II, when we did that carping bombing at the end on Germany, it was a stain. I'm telling you, it was a stain on us. I didn't like it. I still don't like it. Yes, that's right. I study our history. Before that, we were always bombing military sites. But we thought we were going to break the Germans' morale with the carpet bombing over the city, and we did that, but it didn't break their morale. It only got them even stronger. Since then, of course, we haven't done that. But anyway, we'll get back to the president fulfilled his promise to name Jerusalem, Israel, capital city, and move the U.S. embassy there. Now, hey, just so that you know, 2 other presidents tried to do that too, and they failed. I'm not going to mention their names, but I am, because I'm proud of my presidents. I'm just more proud of my president in office today. But 2 other of our presidents tried to get into Israel, and he was denied. No good. President Trump got us in there. Now, we need to be everywhere, okay? President Trump held 2 historic summits with North Korea leader Kim. I can't say the rest of it. Further demonstrated the administration commitment to the denuclearization, Korean Peninsula. I can't, like I said, one day maybe when I'm all grown up, I'll be able to look at these words and it wouldn't be all jumbly. My granddaughter is helping me with my computer, and she's helping me make sure that I've got this in the timeline, and the words are right there in front of me. I tell you, and I've heard them through the pronunciation, grammar, trying to listen to the word. I still can't get them out of my mouth. So I do apologize, but I know you know what I'm trying to say, and that's the most important thing. Now, President Trump withdrew the U.S. from the Iran nuclear agreement. I can't even believe we did that. That was ridiculous. That was like $700 million we gave them too in cash, which I didn't even put in here, and instituted the toughest sanctions in history to drive that regime oil exports and stuff to zero. I mean, we're doing our own stuff now. We don't need nobody, but it would be nice if everybody got in on the same game. Wouldn't that be great if we were all just one beautiful world, all helping each other? Wow, what a concept. So now in June of 2019, President Trump signed an executive order that authorized the expanded sanctions against Iran. Now, the administration has vigorously and quickly enforced the red lines against the regime and individuals that use the chemical weapons. The Trump administration has imposed sanctions on Russia entities and individuals previously indicted for their roles in the Russian interference in our election. We all know what's been going on. Everyone's saying Trump this, Trump that. He's only one man. He can't do everything. But now that he's as president, he can just say, hey, you do this, you do this, you do this. And now he's able to get everything done. You guys thought he was doing all this prior to that. Nobody can do all that kind of stuff. Someone else is doing it, and then someone says he does it. Psst. Now, the Trump administration imposed hard-hitting sanctions against Iran's national banks and trade. And President Trump is delivering on his promises to correct the trade imbalance. Now, that's the thing. Oh, man, that's terrible. The trade administration had taken unprecedented steps to modernize and improve trading practices and negotiate freer, fairer, and better trade agreements with our global allies. President Trump has kept his promise to deliver a modern and rebalanced trade deal to replace it. The United States, Mexico, Canada agreement, also to spur the 176,000 jobs and added $68.2 billion to the U.S. economy and the raise of the wages. President Trump negotiated a new United States-Japan trade. I remember when that happened too. That was fantastic. With Prime Minister of Japan. And is now becoming one of our strongest economic partners in this trade. This thing builds on that partnership. It is a big win for Americans, farmers, ranchers, workers, and business, and also for Japan. The administration revised the United States-Korea Free Trade Agreement to make it more beneficial to the American workers and also to Japan. The President and the European Union, President Juncker, agreed to a new trade deal that straightens and reforms our trade relationship. The agreement works towards zero tariffs. Why we even have those, I don't know. China sends us stuff, we got to pay them 30%. We send China something, we get zero. How was that even negotiated? I'm not going to say the president's name who was doing all that, but who was on the take? I want to know who was on the take, okay? Our President Trump isn't on the take. As far as I'm concerned, like you saw in some of my other videos, we should stop them from bringing anything. We just need to do it on our own. Stop buying 7 TVs. You don't need them. Stop with your 10 computers and 8 phones in the house. A 5-year-old running around with a phone. We don't need it. Let's go ahead and just shut it all off and build it all here. And that's the end of it. And then we don't have to deal with this China stuff. Hell, they're the ones who started the coronavirus anyway. That's my other video. Don't get me started on all this stuff. I'm a pissed American. We're being pissed on. Now, as far as I'm concerned, those tariffs, this is an unbelievable thing to have that now. Zero tariffs. That makes it easy for us. It makes it easy for the EU to purchase the liquefied gas. It reduces trade and the obstacles between the U.S. and the EU. It addresses unfair trade practices. President Trump agreed to a phase one trade deal with China that includes a strong enforcement merchandise. And it goes up and then it goes down. It goes up and it goes down. We're still not there yet. Now, President Trump withdrew the United States from the flawed Trans-Pacific Partnership. I thought that was great, too. All it was everyone was on the take with their hands out. President Trump has now forced our allies to recommit to NATO. Now, Trump's administration has protected the farmers from unfair trade practices by authorizing $12 billion in aid to the American heartland under the Commodity Credit Corporation Charter Act. Now, President Trump continues to reshape the federal jurisdiction at the record pace and is following through on his promises to appointing judges who will uphold the Constitution and the rule of law. President Trump continues to reshape the federal at record pace. President Trump has installed more federal court judges than any other president in the past 4 decades. The president is following through on his promise to appoint judges who will uphold the Constitution and rule of law for generations to come. President Trump has nominated and Senate has confirmed a grand total of 187 Article 3 judges, 2 Supreme Court judges, 50 circuit court judges, 133 district court judges, 2 court international trade judges. President Trump's confirmations have flipped the 3rd, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 11th Circuit Federal Appeals Court to Republicans. Now, whether or not that makes a difference, Republican, Democrats, because I like I said, I don't care Republican, Democrat. I only care who's the best. So if you're a Democrat and you're what's best for everyone here in America, I'm going to vote for you. If you're a Republican, but you're what's best, I'm going to vote for you. So I don't care Republican, Democrat. I don't care if the House is more Republican. If you think it's wrong and you're a Democrat and you vote because you're a Democrat, then you're wrong. You shouldn't even be in office, okay? If you're a Republican and you're doing that same thing, you shouldn't even be in office. Now, in 2018, President Trump broke the record for the most Circuit Court of Appeal judges at 29, confirmed in the first 2 years of his presidency. That's huge. Now, in healthcare, President Trump has reduced the cost of healthcare and taken significant steps to fight the opioid epidemic. Let me tell you, it's a terrible, terrible thing, this drug. I don't care what it is. It's terrible. The thing is you could go to any park, ask any 10, 12, 15-year-old where the drugs are. They'll tell you exactly what houses they are. I'll tell you this right now. All the coppers know where the drugs are. They all know, because we all know. Everybody knows where the drugs are. It's simple. They're making money on it. Everybody's on the take. They're all somewhere up the line taking money. Every time the police forces are busted, 50, 60 people are going to jail. We all know they know. Why aren't they stopping it? Because somebody's getting paid. That's why. That's why. It's very simple. We all know where the drugs are. All you got to do is go to any bar, follow these people home. There's drugs everywhere. They're everywhere. They're on every street corner. They're everywhere. Don't tell me you can't stop the drugs. They're everywhere. Everywhere. Jesus Christ, they're everywhere. But everybody knows where they are. You can't tell me our cops are incompetent. They can't find where the drugs are, because they're everywhere. All right? The president has made it clear that, yeah, I'm pissed. I'm pissed about that. They're freaking everywhere. And you should make it all legal, every bit of it. Every time someone starts doing cocaine, they get into trouble, go to the hospital, we got to pay for it. Hey, let's get taxes from it. Every time they're shooting up with the heroin and all that stuff, we got to pay for it. They're getting sick. Let's put taxes on it. Let's make everything legal. They're doing it anyway, prostitution, everything. Let's get it taxed. We'll end up with no deficit within 2 years. Instead, no, you want to keep feeding the criminals. Let's give all the criminals money, because it's all illegal. The only ones making money is the criminals. We would make sure that it was all done. Hey, you want Coke? It's real Coke. You want this? It's real that. It's real that. You get taxed on it just like the marijuana. Marijuana is bringing in billions of dollars that used to go into the criminals' hands. Take note, make it all legal. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the president, he's making it clear okay, that the patients with the pre-existing conditions will be able to, go ahead, move up, will be able to take care of it. The other way, honey. Okay, and the individuals mandated the penalty, go up, honey, has been eliminated, okay? Now, associated with the health plans have been extended. Now, short-term, limited duration insurance plans have been extended. President Trump is working to implement his plan to lower prescription drugs. Yeah, why are these drugs so expensive, right? I'm on high blood pressure medicine for all those years, spending like $200 a month. I don't take them anymore because I figured out a way naturally, and I did a video on it to get rid of my high blood pressure. So I have been on high blood pressure medicine now for over 4 years. So you should check out, my video on my high blood pressure. It's unbelievable stuff. Now, under Trump's administration, we have seen first ever decline in the average benchmark premium on the federal healthcare exchange. I don't know what a lot of that stuff is, but it certainly is nice to have things lower. The president signed an executive order to improve senior health care and improve the physical sustainability of Medicare. It reforms and expands Medicare Advantage options, and health reimbursement accounts have been expanded. I don't even understand how any of that is even happening. Our elderly has done everything to form what it is that we have today, and we're doing everything for our children. How are we not taking care of our elderly? I don't understand that. We're sending hundreds of billions of dollars outside of the United States to help people we don't even know, where we could be taking care of our own first. If we can't take care of our own first, Mr. President, please. We got some of our elderly here, they're dying, they're hurting. But yet billions are going across the street over there to take care of people that aren't even with us. They're not even Americans, okay? Yeah, granted, I understand wanting to take care of people outside of the United States, but we still got to take care of our own first. Hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars every single year could be taking care of our elderly. With the money that's being sent there, all of our elderly could be sitting in a beautiful, air-conditioned, one little bedroom place with food 24 hours a day, and probably some doctors taking care of them, and they wouldn't even have to pay for it, and they wouldn't have all this stuff in the street. That's the kind of money we're sending out of the country. But hey, that's just me. If I was president, I'd shut China down. They couldn't send nothing in, and all that money that was going out to other countries, I'd be first putting it here with my elderly. They're the ones who got to me. They made me the man that I am with the respect. Now there's no more respect. You talk to these kids these days, where's the respect? They don't even open the door for people anymore. It's terrible. I'm sorry, I'm on a rant sometimes. When it comes to healthcare and our elderly, I get worked up. I'm 56, I'm not a kid anymore. It's time to stand up, so I'm standing up. I might not be able to read this thing perfectly. I might have dyslexia, that's great. I'm putting myself out here to fail for all the world to see. Y'all can laugh at me all you want, but this stuff is the truth, and our president did all this stuff, and maybe I'm ham and egging it, and maybe I'm messing it up sometimes, but I'm still doing the best I can. What are you doing? Sitting on your couch, picking your nose, watching TV, playing video games? Yeah, probably not even watching this. Probably already flipped the channel. Now President Trump signed the support and Patriots. Go ahead, raise it up, honey. Patriots and the Communist Acts to fight. Go ahead, raise it up, honey. On that opioid epidemic. The administration launched Find Treatment Government, a public resource to help all those abused people. Now, President Trump signed an executive order that increases price and quantity transparency. The administration has committed to ending surprise billing. Wow. The HHS is finalizing a rule that will require hospitals to make prices publicly available online and in a more customer-friendly format. The administration has provided a rule to require insurance companies and group health plans to provide enrollees with cost estimates. the Trump administration has promoted innovational and solutions to expand treatment options for Americans living with diseases including HIV and AIDS, kidney disease, pancreatic cancer, Alzheimer's, and more. The administration launched a program to provide the HIV prevention drug, PrEP. I'm not sure what that is. I don't seem to have anything. That's okay, good. I'm happy I don't know what it is, right? To the uninsured patients for free. Signed a bipartisan Free Youth Act to raise nation age of purchasing the tobacco and vaping products to 21 years old. The costly Obamacare tax were repealed, including the catalytic tax and the Medicare device tax enrollment. President Trump is promoting a clean and healthy environment for all Americans, The president and the administration are continuing to purchase policies that pursue environmental protection while promoting economic growth. Since 2005, our energy regulatory carbon emissions has declined more than any other country. This is expected to decrease in 2019 and 2020. Now, you guys know me. I'm president, CEO. I'm an inventor of a vertical axis wind turbine, in which, of course, the U.S. government just shot my patent down, and I just got crushed. Took me 6 years, but that's okay. That's a whole nother video, a whole nother story. But I am an energy addict. I am trying to build energy. I got other inventions, 3 other inventions, my surplus of power. I'm making energy. I'll get there, don't worry. Our nation's energy is a big problem. I'm on it, don't worry, I'm on it. I got a new device coming out in September that makes for free, makes about $150 of energy per month, per year, free. Just makes it for free, and every household's gonna have one. I come out with that in September. Makes that, yeah, and it only costs $200, and it makes $150 a year in energy for free. It just makes energy. Only $150 worth of energy, at 14 cents a kilowatt hour, but still, it still makes $150, $150 to $180. Yeah, wait till you see it, it's amazing. Now, according to the White House, from 1970 to 2018, the combined emissions of the most common air pollutants fell 7.4%. Now, while the economy grew over 275%, we have the cleanest air on record and remain a global leader for access to clean drinking water. That is true, yeah. And access, like I said, to the clean drinking water, I mean, some people have the pumps, some people get it from the city. Either way, it's the cleanest water around. The president has taken important steps to restore, protect our land, air, and water. To save our Seas Act was signed into law in 2018. The law reauthorized the NOAA, the Marine Debris Program, promoting international actions to reduce marine debris and authorize cleanup and response actions that may be needed. The EPA has taken significant steps to clean up our contaminated sites and hazardous sites. Yeah, that stuff, come on, guys. We got to really, Mother Earth can only take so much before she hits back and we're all not here anymore. Now, in 2018, the EPA completed cleanup work on 22 Superfunded sites from the National Priorities List. This is the largest number in 1 year since 2005. The EPA is more efficiently implementing air quality standards that will be better protected in the environment and human health. The president's management of our nation's land promotes, well, we're encouraging good stewardship and expanding the recreational opportunity. Just this year, President Trump signed legislation de-signing 1.3 million new acres of wildlife the largest public land legislation in decades. Hey, that's wonderful stuff. The Department of the Interior proposed to open more than 1 million acres of land for expanding hunting and fishing access. The president took important actions to improve management of forests to help prevent devastating forest fires. Man, those forest fires have been wiping us out. You know, we got to do a better job with that. I understand what he's doing there. Go ahead, honey, move up, please. You know, President Trump issued changes to the National Environment Policy, the NEPA Act, to reduce regulations and allow for infrastructure and transportation projects to move forward. As far as energy, President Trump's policies have begun to unleash our nation's energy potential. President Trump signed an executive order to expand offshore oil and gas drilling and open more leases to develop offshore drilling. Now, first of all, I'm a natural energy guy. I don't like the drilling, and I don't like the offshore drilling. If something goes wrong, now all that oil goes into water. Okay, I don't like that at all. I understand we need the oil, but can't we just stay on the shore where it's safer? We get it freaking oil in the ocean, we start killing all that fish, we kill the marine life. We're not going to be here long. I don't agree with the offshore drilling, okay? I know it's necessary to a certain degree, but I don't think we need any more. We need to shut a lot of it down, close up those pumps and hope they never leak, okay? But that's just my opinion. Stay on the ground. We can stop them. They go ahead and bust open and leak. Now, as far as the Administration Act, aggressively to increase exports of energy resources to the global market and allow financing for coal and fossil fuel energy projects. I don't like that stuff either. We're burning stuff, making pollution when we're doing it. I understand it's necessary, but I also understand people like myself who are working on inventions to make energy that doesn't cost anything, you know, doesn't burn nothing in the air. I've got some stuff. Maybe one day when I'm all grown up, I'll get it done. You know, somebody just comes on in and give me a little quick in my step. I'll show them some of the stuff I got. You'll be amazed. Now, President Trump has approved the infrastructure and provided the resources needed to unleash all this oil and gas and all that. I understand, and it's made freaking 42,000 jobs. And it's created $2 billion in wages. I understand all that, but as you can tell, you know, I really don't like it, okay? I don't like it. I don't like digging for oil because we're making a big hole in the ground and we got to backfill it. We're having all these sinkholes because we're leaving big holes. But the Trump administration has gotten now oil down to sometimes $20, $30 a barrel. Hey, it used to be 160. So, you know, I mean, what are you going to do? You know, I understand that. Now, the president, go ahead, honey. You know, to me, is doing a great job. And, you know, he rescinded the Obama clean power plan, which I didn't like his plan. I didn't like his plan at all. I mean, it was terrible. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, you're giving 30% tax credit to these big wind companies that, first of all, the machine is never going to pay itself off. It breaks down before it ever even really starts making any power. We all know that they're not even efficient. They're 30% efficient. They cost $7 million to put up. They break down within a couple of years. They got bird kill everywhere. My unit didn't have no bird kill. Okay, well, that's a whole nother story. Yeah, you can deny my stuff. That's all right. I understand why. You know, now, as far as, you know, with the greenhouse gases and the power and the state and the energy and the independent stuff and the economic growth and the job creation, it's still digging oil, it's still burning coal, it's still doing all the things we don't need. We need to slow down with all that stuff. You know, I understand it's necessary. I just don't like it. We can be doing a lot of other things here in America, and I don't like the solar either. The solar power is only 18% efficient, 18.4. That's the best panels, okay? That's the best panel, 18. What are we doing with those cells when they're done anyway? Well, you know, what are we going to do with them? You know, we got to go put them somewhere. That's a whole nother story. Now, the president announced he intends to withdraw the U.S. from the unfair Paris Climate Accord. And I understand that. Raise it up, honey. I understand it a little bit, not much, but I do understand that it's not good for us. Now, in the agricultural, you know, President Trump and his administration continues to help our farmers. This I totally agree with. 100%. Let's go. Let's even give them more. Okay, let's give them more. You know, in 2018, President Trump signed a sweeping new farm bill into law. How come you're not moving it, honey? The farm bill provides support and stability to our farmers, expands crop insurance, doubles how much farmers can borrow, and opens new markets for our farmers. The president authorized the year-round sale of that E15 gasoline, which provides a boost to the American corn growing communities. I understand that right there, but these people are eating this corn. Hell, I don't eat corn no more. If you can make fuel out of something, no, I'm just kidding. Now, the red tape that has harmed the American farmer has been rolled back. This includes eliminating the bothersome Obama era Waters of the United States rule, the historic Tax Cuts and Job Acts, promoted family farmers from the estate tax. Probably reading some of that wrong. Didn't sound right to me. Thanks to the president's historic tax cuts legislation, the effective tax rate for farmers is expected to fall from 17.2% to 13.9%. President Trump is standing up for the American farmer by negotiating fairer, freer, and more trade deals that remove barriers and open markets for American farmers. President Trump negotiated the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement, getting a better deal for the American farmers and ranchers. This will increase American exports by $2.2 billion. It's a small number, but it's still something, which eliminates Canada's decriminalization programs that allow low-priced dairy products to undersell our nation. Now, this includes the expanded markets across for dairy products, the eggs, the poultry. In the New Deal with the EU, American soybean exports will be increased. President Trump reached a new trade agreement with Japan. As a result, Japan will be eliminating or reducing the tariffs on approximately $7.2 billion in U.S. exports. Hey, this is cool. President Trump continues to stand up to China and their unfair trade practices, which targets our farmers. The administration provided $16 billion in funding to support our farmers against unfair trade retaliation. The Trump administration continues to support our expanded markets for the American farmer. Japan's markets have been open to all American beef. Restrictions have been eliminated on American pork, beef, to Brazil, Idaho chips, potatoes, to Japan, American poultry, to South Korea. President Trump signed an executive order directing federal agencies to streamline the architectural biotechnology regularization. Wow, I can't believe I said that. Process. That's a big word for me, Now, anything over 4 letters is big for me. The Trump administration is working to provide connectivity to a rural America by investing in rural broadband. Now, President Trump is working to protect our nation's forests. In 2018, the president signed an executive order aligned at increasing responsibility forest management and continuing federal, state, tribal, and local assets to prevent and combat wildfires. In order to prevent the health of our forests, the Agricultural Improvements Act of 2018 was signed into law. President Trump and his administration continue to provide necessary disaster relief to impacted areas. Now, on education, President Trump and his administration are putting students and families first. The president understands the importance of education and continues to declare the last week of January National School Choice Week. The president signed a historic executive order that promotes and protects free speech on college campuses. Why it wasn't there to begin with, I don't know. We live in America. We have free speech. President Trump, I don't know all the rules on campus. Maybe they're a separate entity. You speak there, you get cut off, I guess. That shouldn't be the case. President Trump and his administration support education, freedom scholarships, and Opportunity Act. In 2019, President Trump signed a memorandum that eliminates 100% of the student loan debt for primarily disabled veterans. Right? They shouldn't even have to freaking pay, okay? They're veterans that have been disabled from going to war, going somewhere like that. We should take care of them. Right? That's it. They're going to keep my freedom the way I have it. I'll take care of them, no problem. Take some of my taxes, no problem, take care of them. There isn't that many of them anyway. The president continues to work with the Department of Education to expand transparency and give students expanded access to virtual information about the career outcomes and the programs they're enrolling in. President Trump has made historical Black colleges and universities a priority, including appropriating more money to the HBCUs in 1 year than any other president, and establishing a presidential board of advisors. Now, President Trump signed the Futures Act into law. The law primarily funds the HBCUs and simplifies the FAFSA applications. The president is continued to expanding and strengthening the education in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. First of all, Mr. President, anybody who wants to go to college and only wants to study those are our true heroes. Why don't we just pay for all of them? Let's get all of them educated. Those are the true heroes. These sports people, they're not the heroes. Those other people, they're the heroes. Those are our heroes. Now, President Trump issued a presidential memorandum encouraging the Department of Education to promote the STEM, especially computer science. Now, okay, I understand that computer science stuff, that's the way of the future. President Trump directed more than $200 million per year to technology education grants for women and programs that encourage participation in the STEM careers. As far as money going to women, Black, Puerto Rican, white, I don't care. It shouldn't be all of that. It should be best person. You go on in, you take a test, you get this on the test, you get the grant, everything's paid for. Shouldn't matter what color you are. It should matter your brain. Why are we giving grants and stuff to people who are like myself? I shouldn't have no grant. I can't even freaking spell words over 5-6 letters. I'm real great at math though, don't get me wrong. 0.006 to meter squared to the third power. I know all that stuff, got no problem with that. But when it comes to reading, hey, what about the word plane? I don't know, which plane? The plane on the wood? The plane on the plane color? The plane on the ground? The plane in the air? What plane? I don't know what plane. What there is it? How many different ways we got to spell there? I get all confused. I don't even know which there I'm supposed to spell. So I just take one of them. I just spell it. That's a whole... But if they got the brain, we should pay for it. I don't care what color they are. They don't have the brain. I don't care what color they are. We shouldn't pay for it. Go ahead, honey, move up. The president donated his 2017 second quarter salary to the Department of Education. The funds were used to host a STEM-focused camp for the students. President Trump signed the Inspire Act, which encouraged NASA to have more women and girls participate in STEM and pursue careers in aerospace. The president signed an exclusive executive order to expand apprenticeship in America. President Trump has encouraged state and federal lawmakers to expand school choices. The administration lowered regulation hurdles and restored flexibility to schools with respect to minus their menus to their cafeteria. President Trump is committed to making our schools safer. President Trump encouraged passage of the Stop School Violence Act to provide funding, grants in schools to improve security measures. The administration established a commission on school safety to eliminate ways to make schools safer for all students and teachers. Additionally, the administration proposed a new $5 billion annual tax credit to promote school choices. The move is supported by 2/3 of Black Americans, military and veterans. President Trump is protecting Americans and our allies by rebuilding our military and ensuring our veterans receive the care they deserve. President Trump has restored American military strength. Yes, he is doing that. Under President Trump's leadership, Congress passed 3 historic National Defense Acts. The 2020 NDAA includes a much-needed 3.1 pay raise for all of our troops. I understand that they should get paid, yes. The 2020 established the United States Space Force to ensure Americans' dominance in space. We got a long way to go with that. I have a whole nother theory on that, but that's a whole nother videos that I'm going to be doing on the moon, space, and everything else. I mean, I know what's going on in this planet because of one of my inventions. Now I understand what gravity is. So that's a whole nother story. President Trump signed the Veterans Accountability and the Whistleblower Protection Act to allow senior officials in the Department Affairs to the fire-failing employees and establish safeguards to protect the whistleblowers. Raise that up, honey, please. The president signed the VA Choice and Quality Enrollment Act in 2017 to authorize $2.1 billion in additional funds for the Veterans Choice Program. The Trump administration created a new White House VA hotline staffed by veterans and family members. The administration has secured a record $8.6 billion in funding for the mental health service, in which goal of entering the tragedy of the veterans' suicide. Ooh. The Trump administration has created the Prevents Incentive, a task force aimed at underflying the efforts of governments, businesses, and nonprofit groups to help our veterans. The president has secured $73.1 billion for the Department of Veterans Affairs, the highest funding for the VA in history. Veterans Affairs increases transparency and accountability by launching on a hotline access to the quality tools. This provides veterans a way to access wait time and quality of the care data. In 2019, President Trump signed a memorandum that enables 100% of student loan debt for primarily disabled veterans. The president also called upon all 50 states to ensure that disabled veterans do not pay state tax on their forgiven debts. Okay. The unemployment rate among the veterans is at a record low of 2.8. 9.1 million veterans are employed. The number of the unemployment veterans has been reduced by 40% under President Trump. In November of 2019, President Trump became the first president to walk in the New York City Veterans Day Parade. What, are you kidding me? Women. Under President Trump administration, women have been empowered to reach their economic potential. Women have been record low unemployment under. Women have experienced record low unemployment under President Trump. Since he's been elected, Trump has created over 4.3 million new jobs for women. In 2019, 1.5 million, like I said, and that was 50% of the total jobs of that year, over 50%. And in December, the adult women unemployment rate was 3.2, the lowest, like I said, from 1953. The unemployment rate among women has been under 4% for 18 straight months during the president's first year in office. Well, there's only 12 months in a year. Now, and it fell, the It says here, okay, during the president's first year in office, the number of American women in poverty fell by nearly 600,000. Today, thanks to the tax cuts and the job acts, the child tax credit was doubled to $2,000 per child. President Trump was the first president to include a paid family leave policy. 2 budget proposals included paid parent leave for the federal workers. President and his administration are continued to move it, honey. Keeping families and communities safe. The Trump administration has prioritized empowering women to pursue careers and realize their economic potential. President Trump directed more than $200 million per year to technology education grants for women and programs that ensure participation in STEM careers. President Trump signed an exclusive executive order establishing the National Council for the American Worker. Over 300 companies and the associations of all sizes and industries have been signed to the administration, pledged to the American worker, promising to create more than 14 million educational, training, and skill-building opportunities over the next 5 years. Ivanka Trump created the Women's Global Deployment and Prosperity Incentive, WGDP, to help 50 million women in 22 developing countries realize their economic potential by 2025. Okay, 50 million running out of the country. I mean, I understand that she's a woman, she's trying to help, but we got women here that need that 50 million. No disrespect to you. I understand a lot of the stuff that you're doing, and I do respect what you're doing. But all this money that's leaving our country to all these other people, 50 million could have went to our women. All you had to do was give 50 million. Okay, 50 million. Hey, 50 million times what? 10. What is that? 500 million? All you had to do was give 100,000. I'm not even going to go into. You know how much that 50 million divided up into 20,000 to each one of our women would have been, please? Additional Trump administration efforts to empower women globally include, more globally stuff. The Women Entrepreneurs Finance Incentive aims to mobilize more than $2.6 billion in capital for women in 26 developing countries. Now, once again, that's $2.6 billion that could have stayed here to our women. If you want to help the women, we got to build a strong America first. We've got to, before you can help everybody, you've got to be strong. You can't be weak. We're not strong enough to help everybody out yet. We owe people taxes. We owe people a deficit. We're a deficit. We're a country that owes. We need to be taking care of our... not going to get involved in everything because I know nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. We can't do everything. I just, okay. 2.6 more millions going out the door. Now, of course, I knew all this stuff. I'm just trying to make a point. I want the money to stay here, Mr. President. You're my president. I love you to death. I think you're doing a great job. But let's keep the money here for our women, for our people, for our veterans, for our elderly. Why can't we take care of them first, and then whatever's left, we send somewhere else? Now, the Women's Connect Challenge seek to grow women's access to digital technology and bridge the digital gender divide. The 2x Woman incentive aims to mobilize $1 billion in capital to support women living in developing worlds. This incentive has already mobilized more than $140 million from the private sector to support women in Latin America and the Caribbean. Okay, go ahead, move it up, please. Now, Black Americans. Black Americans have a true champion in President Trump. I will agree with that. And President Trump has created an astonishing 1.6 million new jobs for Black Americans since his election. In December, the Black unemployment rate was 5.9%. The Black Americans' unemployment rate has been at or below 7% for 23 consecutive months. Prior to President Trump administration, The black unemployment rate has never dipped below 7%. In 2019, African Americans' unemployment rate hit a record low and remained below 7% for the entire year. Under President Trump, income for black Americans have increased by 2.6%. Under Trump, economy wages continue to rise with significant benefits the lowest paid workers. The poverty rate among black Americans is at the lowest level in history. That is big. Now, under President Trump, 350,000 fewer black Americans are living in poverty. That's huge. During the president's first year in office, the black Americans' poverty rate fell to 21.2%, down 22% the year before. As a result, the historic Tax Cuts and Job Act's nearly 9,000 opportunity zones were created in all 50 states. Go ahead, move it. Now, these opportunity zones, once again, create over $100 billion in private capital. Move it. Which, of course, the investments and impacts of 1.4 million to minority households. President Trump signed the historic First Step Act into law. The First Step Act has been widely hailed as the most meaningful criminal justice reform in generations. The landmark legislation includes necessary reform for our justice system, improves our prison systems, and prepares inmates for reinstatement into our community. As a result, the First Step Act's more than 3,000 Americans have been released from prisons, and 90% of those who have had their sentence reduced are black Americans. The First Step Act shortens the mandatory minimum sentences for non-violent drug crimes and provides judges great liberty to go around mandatory minimums. The law also allows offender sentence under racially motivated mandatory minimums to petition for their cases to be reevaluated. President Trump was awarded the 2019 Bipartisan Justice Award by the nonprofit's 2020 Bipartisan Justice Center. The president received this award for his ability to work across the aisles and achieve meaningful process in reinforcing our criminal justice system. President Trump has committed his administration to advancing second chance hiring for former prisoners. This includes launching the Ready to Work incentive. The Trump administration has fought for the federal tax credit on the donations of funding scholarships to private schools, a proposal supporting 64% of African Americans. President Trump has made supporting historical black colleges and universities a top priority. In February 2017, President Trump announced the President Board of Advisories on the HBCUs. The President signed an executive order in February 2017, the earliest any president has ever signed an order on the HBCUs. The EO established an interagency working group to advance and coordinate work regarding HBCUs. The Federal Incentive Office, which moved back into the White House, a move that leaders have requested under President Obama. President Trump has appropriated more money than any other president to the HBCUs. The president signed legislation to increase federal funding by 13% to the highest level ever. President Trump signed the Future Act into law. The law prohibits funding. The law primarily funds HBCUs and simplifies the FAFSA applications. The president worked with Congress to lift the ban on Pell Grants and summer classes. Through the capital financing program, the administration has provided more than $500 million in loans to the HBCUs. The president directed entire funding government to develop a strategy to support the HBCUs to date. This has been supported by 32 departments and agencies. The administration has forgiven more than $300 million in outstanding debt for 4 schools impacted by the natural disaster, and the budgets provided $10 million to defer loan payments for 6 schools facing financial difficulties. The Department of Education worked with HBCUs to protect $80 million in Title III carryover funding. President Trump took a big step to end discriminatory restrictions to prevent faith-based HBCUs from exceeding federal support. The administration continues to work with the HBCUs to expand apprenticeship opportunities, career choices, and ensure the receiving adequate support. Before I go into the Latino Americans, with the Black Americans, the one nice thing that I can tell you is when I started coaching football, my first coach, the head coach, Mr. Valdez Scott, he was a black. I'm white. He brought me in and brought me on in to be his defensive coordinator. The second coach in which I then all of a sudden started to coach football, who brought me in, was also an African American. The third coach that brought me in was African American. So I had 3 coaches on my way to me becoming a head coach to win a championship in 2005. Now that's also another one of my videos, but it was 3 African American coaches that gave me a shot. So yeah, I was brought up prejudiced as a shorty, but once I got into my 30s and I started coaching football, and that was it for me. That's when I became even, and from that point on, it's been nothing but a beautiful life for me. I suggest everybody starts coaching football or start getting involved in the community where you're able to take care of every different kind of kid. You're going to see that they all get hurt. They all cry, and they all are loving and caring. And it's us parents that instill this stuff in them. Not them. They're kids. They don't know any better. I didn't know I was prejudiced until I was told I was. But when I became 30, I made up my own mind not to be. And all my friends know it. Go ahead, honey. On the Latino Americans, underneath President Trump's leadership, the Latino American community has thrived. Under President Trump, Latino Americans have experienced record low unemployment. More than 2.9 million jobs have been created for Latino Americans since President Trump was elected. In December, the Latino Americans' unemployment rate was near a record low of 4.2%. The Hispanic American unemployment rate hit several record lows in 2019, including falling below 4% for the first time in history. The median Latino American income rose by $1,786 during President Trump's first year in office. In 2017, the Latino American income hit its highest ever record level of $50,486 since taking office. The Latino American home ownership rose by more than a percentage point, from 46.3 to 47.4. In addition to the booming economy, President Trump renegotiated freer and fairer trade deals such as the USMCA. President Trump has stood up to socialism and communists in Venezuela, Cuba, NICARAGUA, thanks to pressure from President Trump, 50 countries followed President Trump's leadership in recognizing Juan Guaido as the legitimate leader of Venezuela. The Trump administration, now I've heard these words and I just can't seem to get it out. The Trump administration has rolled back President Obama's disastrous rapprochement with Cuba, which only benefited the country dictatorship instead of its people. Honey, you paying attention?
Yeah.
As the direction of the president, as the direction of the President Trump, the Trump department has imposed sanctions against senior officials in the Nicaraguan regime for the role in the human rights abuse and undermining democracy. Honey, the president has made it clear that Americans' interests do not align with failed socialist policies. Asian Americans, trying to learn Japanese. Under President Trump's leadership, Asian Americans' unemployment has reached fewer lows. In December, the Asian American unemployment rate was 2.5, near a historic low. The lowest ever recorded unemployment rate for Asian Americans, 2.1%, came in June of 2019. What are you doing?
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's it? Oh my goodness. Hey guys, that's it. She's done scrolling. I can't believe it. I did such a great job. Well, you know, I think it was a great job. Maybe you don't think it was a great job, but I got dyslexia. So for me, I wanted to get this out for our president. Hey, Mr. President, hey, that was the best that I could do. I'm sorry I butchered up a few of the words. I'm sorry I made a few mistakes. But hey, listen, I love what you're doing. I love everything that you're doing. And I really do appreciate the time that you have given me, and thank you very much. I hope you guys like this. I hope you share this. I hope that this is everything that you want your president to be, because I know it's everything I wanted my president to be. Thank you, thank you.